you're able to, please rise. Move hat. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 2, approval of the March meeting agenda. I would like to make one change to the agenda. I would like to add, and we can discuss where, probably regular business, H, contract of Gary Goldsmith, which is expiring April 1st. With that change, can I get a motion?
So moved. Second change.
Brian with the change, second by Peter. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the consent agenda, item number 3. Review or an approval of the treasurer's reports, which include the routine claims and payroll.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Okay, Paul, and then Dalton. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, just to clarify, that includes the 3 supplemental claims that we distributed just a few minutes ago.
And these are the federal quarterly income tax withholding
State quarterly tax and the monthly tax.
and the monthly para. Okay.
Yes, it does.
Would you like to amend your motion?
No, to include the 3 adjustments.
To include the 3 adjustments. Dalton, do you still second that?
Yes.
Yes.
I made a motion.
Oh, Paul, I'm sorry. Paul.
It's all right. It's all right, agree.
Paul, you're good?
Yes, fine.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4, Sheriff's Report.
Evening, everyone. Sergeant Alex Dean again. Sheriff's report for February last month. Saw 140 different calls for service or CADs generated by the Sheriff's Office. Again, a bulk of these are typically officer initiated or deputy initiated as far as proactivity, including traffic enforcement, security checks, extra patrol. Some other notable things, there was 2 motor vehicle property damage accidents. We didn't have any injury-related motor vehicle accidents last month, one of which, the property damage was a vehicle swerved to miss a deer and then in turn struck a tree on the side of the road, so single vehicle accident. The second accident was a 3-vehicle accident at the intersection of County 4 and County 15, which we know is a fairly busy accident or related intersection in this county. But that was mostly due to icy roads. It was determined that the intersection was icy. Vehicle skidded through the stop sign at County Road 4 off of 15. A vehicle did collide, and then a second vehicle also slid while those were collided across the road, ending up in 3 vehicles impacted, but no injuries there. Garbage dumping complaint. The Sheriff's Office handled a bathtub. Discarded bathtub was dumped at the Ann Lake Campground last month. So DNR was notified and they retrieved it, picked it up. But we're going to be doing some extra patrol. That's a fairly common problem throughout our county, especially over in the west end of the county in the more rural farming district. There's a lot of dumping on the sides of the roads and in kind of remote areas. But that's a problem here as well, so we'll keep an extra eye on that. Kind of a notable case too that happened last month was there was an altercation at the Getaway Bar. So deputies were responding to that area. A suspect vehicle description was aired out to responding deputies, and they located that vehicle heading northbound on County Road 5 out of town. They turned around, tried to stop it. It led the deputies on a high-speed pursuit several miles into Mille Lacs County. At one point, the suspect did stop and actually backed up and ran the squad car, the deputy pursuing, and then took off again, and they ended up being able to safely apprehend him with no use of force or anything like that. It was a fairly serious pursuit as far as that goes.
Thank you for that detailed update on some things that we've heard about going on.
Yeah.
But it's nice to hear it from you.
Yeah, no, I'll try to
Much appreciated. Give us the highlights
pick
of
up on
what,
the more notable.
what the chatter is.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of rumors out there, but, I'll try to keep an ear out for that kind of stuff and touch on.
Yeah, that's much appreciated. Would you like some candy?
No, I'm good. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you very much. Is there any questions, by the way, for the deputy before he leaves? No questions? All right, thank you very much. All right, number 5, open forum. Is there anybody here that would like to speak in open forum? Okay, if you could stand.
Just stand in place.
Stand, give us your name, your address.
My name is Josh Belmore. I live
Could you spell that for our clerk?
Belmore,
And your address?
13680 2666 Avenue, Northwest, just about 2 blocks outside of Orrock Township in Livonia. Would it be appropriate if I approach and hand some information out?
What is it?
Well, I'm here to introduce myself along with my locally owned business. I do ditch maintenance and also park trail maintenance, buckthorn remediation, stuff like that. If I could pass out the information, I've got a brief written presentation, and
I think we can allow you to hand it to us. I would ask in the future that you would be asked to be put on the agenda potentially,
sure, Yep.
because we can't respond or discuss anything at this point.
okay. I did call, I wasn't in the 10-day window, asked if it would be appropriate, they said, come on in.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
apologize if that
No,
was conflicting.
just so we can't have any conversation about anything other than take your item and move on.
Sure.
Yeah, you can introduce yourself, but
That's it.
they can't have any discussion about it.
All right, can I introduce my presentation?
You actually only have 3 minutes, so.
Okay, I'll hand this up quickly. Thank you.
Perfect. I'm gonna go back to my spot here.
You have about a minute remaining.
No problem. So I'm here to introduce myself and my company, MicroX. We are a focused land services company, a family-owned and operated business in Livonia Township. What do we do? Well, our motto is small footprint, big results. Our core services are excavator-based brush mowing, forestry mulching, and overgrowth trimming. Value-added services are general excavation, drainage and ditch maintenance, easements, culvert replacements, and material placement, just to name a few. Our niche core services bridge the gap between skid steer and tractor-based mulching and mowing services and costly direct manual labor. To put it plainly, we can reach further, performing maintenance and terrain others can't or won't, and we can do it safely and economically with minimal impact to adjacent areas.
All right, well, thank you very much. Much appreciated. I would encourage you, when you ever, if you see a RFP from us, to apply.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a great evening.
You bet. Anybody else in open forum? Anybody else? All right, moving on. Number 6, approval of the meeting minutes, February monthly meeting and Board of Audit meeting.
That is wrong.
I'm sorry, what?
No, that's right, sorry.
Okay, we're right, okay,
You're right, sorry.
okay,
I skipped a step in my brain.
no problem. Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
Move to approve.
Dalton, do I get a second?
I'll second.
Peter, any discussion, any changes? All those in favor? Opposed? None, motion carries. Number 7, regular business, presentation of draft annual meeting minutes, no action required. Shelley? Any questions about the draft of the meeting minutes that Shelley prepared?
Lois signed it and it's all care.
Okay, any questions? All right, thank you. Moving on. B, posting of meeting videos online, discussion action. So this was one of the items that came up during the meeting on March 11th. I'm open for discussion. Any discussion?
I guess, I took some time and came up and looked at the video. I still think there's some concerns about it. Is if the areas that I have concerns are that there's no camera that covers the clerk or the treasurer. There is no podium, so when someone dresses, we don't see that particular person. And I think that this would be better to be included in the scope of technology changes that may be happening. The sound quality was much better this time. I will agree there. But I just think that if we're going to do this, there was also a problem, and it may be just the use here of a delay in either the video or the audio, and so then I'd have to catch up. And so I don't know if it's the bandwidth that's here or what, but I don't know if that's true of it being observed at someone's home or something.
Yeah, it'd be hard for us to know that.
Yes. And so that's the main concerns I have is, I just don't want to rush into this, but I am probably more open than I have been. I'll put it that way.
Are you opposed to the quality of the camera, or is it just the location of that camera up there?
There's only the one.
So if we moved it to back there though and captured everyone, I realize it's far away from our faces, but then it would capture everybody, including the audience.
But then you're gonna have the back of the person that would be addressing
True.
and the microphone for, I think that if we're gonna go into this, that probably instead of the overhead mics, we need to have mics on the table.
Sure.
And more cameras.
I can see that, and then potentially one open mic for if there's any kind of
Which
public.
would potentially just be right there.
Or podium, whatever else,
Podium,
yeah.
whatever,
yeah.
right there. I
Well,
don't
there,
think that,
because that could be in blocking people from seeing the screen.
well, I meant temporarily, while they talk. I mean, there's some things that we can work on. I think that, I'm not sure that the technology for the cameras are in the scope of what was agreed upon in the March 11th motion. That was not part of that, so I think we might be stepping out of bounds with what the constituents discussed about the $10,000 and the technology. That was not part of that, so we might have it to be supplemental to that, Paul, you might be right, but I don't think that, we're never going to arrive at perfection. And I think it's going to be ongoing, and we won't know what we need to fix till we try to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my big thing. We will never know, because we can never be at home to watch it. So I am concerned about fixing the glitches, and some of the glitches that have been fixed have been because people watched them at home and called it in to us, or texted us to us, to let us know about the sound quality and things. And thank you to Boaz and Shelley for spending many hours getting that figured out, to not trash the system. So much appreciated.
And if we go to multiple cameras, that usually means that we need another person to operate the cameras. Because I think that's unfair to ask that of Shelley, besides taking her. I'm just saying is I think there's more to this than just turning over what we currently have.
And I think, and there probably is to make it perfect, but I think turning over what we have is better than what we have right now, which is nothing. So I would make the motion that we look into opening a YouTube channel and posting our monthly meetings, special meetings, any videotape meetings online for constituent review.
Versus it just being what we currently have. Because we don't have a YouTube channel now.
No, we don't.
Correct, but we don't share the recording.
We
So
don't share the recording.
They can watch it live, but if someone wants to go back, the only thing they have are the minutes.
It wouldn't, it'd still be live the way it is right now. After the meeting is over,
There's nothing.
there's nothing. But she would be able to take the video, post it to the YouTube channel for future viewing.
Yeah, and we would still keep the same
The
minutes,
system we
correct?
use right now would still work the way it is.
Yes.
You watch it live, it's on WebEx,
And we're still keeping the paper minutes and everything
And
on
we're-
top of that.
absolutely.
And we,
How many people are viewing what we have now? Is there
We
a
don't-
lot of people viewing it, or is it just a couple?
Not very many right now, because if they want to come, they want to see it, most of them have been showing up. Because there is no place to watch it.
Seems to me we're spending a lot of time and effort for an effort that nobody, not a great many people partake in.
They're two separate things, Brian. One is, right now, there are people who cannot be here, so they cannot watch either, because a lot of it is religious-based. They're at Wednesday, Sunday school, they're at school, children things, they work in the evenings. We don't know what that number is that would actually watch it on a YouTube channel, because there's never been anything to watch. What I can tell you is that the reactions on Facebook to I post the next day about what happened at the meeting, the number of likes and reads and this and that are much more than are watching it tonight. So,
and we can't do this with our current system of just posting it on our site, our website, that they can go to. That's what I'm asking. That's what I thought you were originally, where they can go to our website now and get anything, as far as copies of the previous minutes and stuff. That can't be posted and people watch it?
I mean, I'd be in favor if we took the recording and posted it on our website. Is that what you're saying, website instead of YouTube?
That's what I thought we were talking about.
we'd have to check and see whether we have the capacity on the website to host them all.
Kevin said the problem with that is the amount of memory.
That's what I thought. And that, we'll have that, a little bit more of that discussion when we get to the IT
So-
section.
So one thing I would propose there is, do we post the most recent months you post on the website, and the archive is YouTube? So then we can keep a significantly longer amount of months on YouTube, but then easy access is last month is on websites, so it's easier to find for people. Because I think if we're putting it on our website, as long as we're not using too much storage space, it's free, I would think. And then YouTube, I don't know if there's a cost for a YouTube channel, I don't believe so.
No, it's free.
That's what I thought, so,
So let me amend my motion to having the YouTube channel for archives, but the most recent two months would be on our website.
Was there a second to your motion?
I'll second that.
I just meant, did you need to amend it or just change it?
No.
Either way. Dalton, okay,
You got
I
it.
got a second. Any further discussion?
Read your motion again, please.
Sure. I make a motion that meetings that are recorded be posted on our website for two recent months, and that we establish a YouTube channel to archive the meetings previous.
I think that's a good mix there, because Brian, if what you're saying, if no one's watching it, then we don't have to spend more money. Like, we can continue to do it the way we have it right now, which I think we've said is not perfect, but it's better. And then if for whatever reason we don't want to pursue more technology, we can keep doing it the way we are, but it's not spending any money. And in terms of time-wise, what is it, 2 minutes to upload?
And a video will be somewhere
Exactly.
for people to watch.
I think this is a free and very low-effort way of starting it.
Is there a way to monitor how much that's actually used or viewed?
YouTube, you can. I don't know if it would online,
I don't know if it will on ours, but on YouTube, it does have a viewer count.
which is going to, by nature, going to have a lower view, because it's now 3 months old at that point.
Correct.
but
YouTube will, he's correct, YouTube will have a lower view because if they're gonna watch it, they're gonna watch it on
likely you're gonna watch it.
our website. Which I don't know if we have a view counter or the ability to add a view counter.
That's what
And that would be something we can talk with Kevin about, not you, Kevin, different Kevin.
can we just start and just say the 2 previous months versus archiving until we,
But we won't have to archive for at least 3 months. I'd like her to start looking into the YouTube option so that if we
I'm saying,
decide
so
to
you're
go-
not saying going back the next 4 years, last 4 years?
No, it's day forward. Day forward.
Okay, 'cause you used the word, okay, if it's,
I meant archiving as in, these 2
Beginning
months
now.
have passed, so this one will go online, next month's will go on our website. The next month, this month's goes to YouTube, and we move it forward. There's only ever 2 on our website.
okay,
Okay.
The only comment I'd make quick is just I'd verify with your attorney that you can post it on YouTube. I don't know exactly how that, I know that some cities get very nervous about posting on actually, like, on YouTube, and they keep it in a.
I think they'd rather have you post it on your own website, but going to a third party, I think there's,
Yeah, I just.
Sherburne County
verified.
does.
Okay, then you're fine.
Sherburne County has all, their entire thing is on, they have their own YouTube channel, and they have videos from Health and Human Services, Corrections, the Sheriff's Office, all their departments post right on their YouTube channel.
But that includes a meeting?
Yep,
Okay, I was just curious. I
you
know
watch
that
their live meetings
when
on
that was- This
YouTube.
was first coming out, I know there's a lot of discussion on security on that.
Yeah, you can't watch a Sherburne County board meeting unless you go to their YouTube channel.
Gotcha.
There's not a way to WebEx in unless you're invited into the meeting to participate, because there's no participation from just viewers. Yep.
I have one other, sorry.
Further comment? Go ahead.
Are you comfortable posting these things, Shelley?
I have to figure out how to do it. Full disclosure, I do not know how to do the website videos. So, I'll have to
More than
figure that
likely
out.
just be like.
It's a link. Yeah, it'll be a link. And
Can we
then,
just-
yep, and her and I can work on that too. I do know, I mean, I've run websites before, so we'll get it done.
Can I ask a question? If you do end up moving forward from tonight, putting archived videos on YouTube, are you gonna lock it down so that comments can't be made and those kinds of things? Because if you do, then who's gonna monitor that and answer all the things?
Well,
Just a
I was,
question.
just as the other cities do, that would be something when we start to investigate the YouTube and what all the options are and the things that you can have on them or not have on them. I think that would be the future discussion 3 months from now as to what features we have or don't have.
Or want or don't want?
Or want or don't want. Right, this was just, the YouTube was to investigate it, look at how that would work for us. I know they have paid ones, they have free ones, what's gonna work. Do we have to pay $1.99 to lock that stuff down? Does the free one have it, does it not? I want to be able to investigate that. And that will be a decision that we will have to make. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So that was just for you, Shelley. That was me, seconded by Dalton, just for clarification purposes. Okay, on to number C, technology and data security updates. So Shelley and I had a quick meeting. No, a lie, that was not quick. It was not a quick meeting. We had a meeting with Kevin from Data Success on last Friday morning. And so we brought him in just to gauge what he could do for us, what his initial thoughts were, and what would be the plan if we were to move forward with all of this. I see that she has given you the meeting notes of that consultation, which are right up there for the people to see that didn't get our packet. He hasn't looked at a thing. He hasn't been in our stuff, he hasn't touched our stuff. But him asking questions and us answering those questions, he has some serious concerns. A couple things. Number one, he believes that we're actually not using Microsoft Business Platform, that we're using a personal platform, which is why we have some limitations to how many people you can add to stuff, how many emails you can send at one time, some other things that he asked us about. That's number one. The concerns was one of the things. One of the concerns also had to do with those don't have quite the security that a personal one doesn't have quite the security as a business platform does. So that was a big thing. He wants to do an inventory and analysis of what we have, what are our vendors, what are we using, what are we underutilizing, what are things we could be doing better, and are they secure? He's not particularly happy that we have stuff on our phones. He says that's a critical, or our personal devices for that matter. He said we should not have anything on our personal devices or our phones. If our phone or our computer gets hacked, all of our data is at a breach point. So even though the motion that was made on the 11th did not include our phones, I'm not sure we need phones, but we're gonna have to do something about phones. Whether the pads have the texting capability in it or something, I don't know what we're gonna have to do. Some of that will come after we talk with him a little bit more. We want to make sure that our critical fixes, once he gets into our stuff, that he makes sure that if we need any critical fixes, that we get that done and taken care of. And then if we need an equipment update, letting us know what that is, what are the best options for us. And we're hoping by the end of June that we would be able to move forward and getting 1, 2, and 3 done by the end of June. And then be able to move forward on what we would be purchasing in terms of equipment. Shelley did reach out to our attorney. We're gonna have a contract done with a non-disclosure in it because he will be in our stuff. And so we wanna make sure that Corey and Rupp are gonna get that contract back to us. Is that right, Shelley?
Yes.
Okay. So they're aware, we have consulted them. Shelley, what would you like to add since you were at that meeting?
I think you gotta know.
Okay.
Question if I could, and are you sure you don't have government edition of Office 365?
We have.
He wasn't sure we did.
I'm pretty sure you do.
Okay. Then there must be he thinks that then there must be things that we don't have clicked on correctly because there are some limitations as to what Shelley's able to do. She gets error notices about can't do this, the file is this, the file. So clearly our settings are not right then, and we knew it was one or the other. Either we were using personal or we were underutilizing the program. So until he can get his hands on it and know what buttons to click on and off, we won't know.
And you never, and I'm just going from my experience, of course it's different because of where I'm located. You don't have a contract with Sherburne County IT?
Not that we're aware of, no.
Or you would have been aware of it because it would have come and thinking at least prior to this time.
And that is one of the things that he was gonna Kevin was also gonna look into. What are our abilities with Sherburne County IT? What are the state abilities? What are the county abilities? And that's giving us what's gonna be best for us.
Does the county offer that service to the townships?
That is our vendor is Sherburne County IT regular, not the sheriff's department. The sheriff's department is overwhelmed, and the city of Big Lake was notified recently that they were not going to be able to serve Big Lake City, Sherburne County Sheriff's IT department. We have just regular Sherburne County
Okay.
IT. So,
It'd be worth looking into that, see what the options are.
so just
Thanks, Brenda.
So, like I said, we had the meeting, again, his recommendations were, this was what he would do. Step 1, inventory analysis. 2, critical fixes. 3, give us information about equipment updates. And obviously do ongoing training with us if we needed it. And go from there. So, questions?
Well, I wish I would have known about the meeting. I would probably learn more about what's going on. So I don't know what you're asking for. I don't see a proposal.
Just any question? No, there's not. This is just discussion.
It was literally just a
reporting about what we did.
discussion of what it was that we wanted him to do and how he would implement that.
So very similar to getting estimates, basically. What will you do for us and what will work? I think looking into Sherwood County.
So he's doing this free gratis?
All estimates, he told us, are free. If we decide to go this route with him. But I think, he did mention Sherburne County IT or Sherburne County support to us while we were there. He also said that would be something to look into, and he said that about the state vendors as well, that there are state products as well. So, again, we had no information to know what we had or what we didn't have. I didn't have it. I don't think Shelley's run across it. So it was with what we had. This is what we know. So we're going to continue the conversations to try to figure out what's going to be best for us about our IT issues. But there is some concern, and I've heard it from multiple sources, about having our stuff on our personal devices.
But I think Brenda's right, we do have Microsoft 365. It probably just isn't, you're right, this hasn't been opened up the right.
It's not, the settings are not right.
Being used correctly.
I believe the readings that I've had this month, it's 365 Office, but it's a government version.
Should be able to look at your previous billing.
Yes,
CTAS
I
and
believe that's where I saw it. But what that means, I can't say more than that, but I believe I saw some of the reading that said the government version.
And that was the conversation, was either we're on the wrong platform or we're underutilizing the platform by not having the right settings. So that was the conversation, and we couldn't answer the question.
So where are we going from here? Obviously, you're going to check Sherburne County. What are you going to do with this guy?
I'm sorry, could you turn that off? We don't turn that off. So I think we're going to, we'll reach out to Sherburne County IT, see what they offer.
You're still in the discovery stage.
Discovery stage. I think that I'm not necessarily wanting to wait month after month after month to keep coming back before decisions are made. I mean, we had the electorate, they made a decision, they want us to move forward with something. We need, at some point, whether it's Sherburne County IT or whether it's this data success out of Big Lake, we need to find out who our vendors are and what we're using, and what we're doing. So I think we'll continue to move forward in seeing what Sherburne County IT has to see what they offer.
Have we contacted the previous clerk and treasurer about this? Because they didn't seem to have problems, and I'm not saying, but have we talked to them?
Well, it's not that there are a few problems. My stuff is still messed up, but
Prior to
But I think
6 months ago, was it messed up?
no,
So something's occurred.
something occurred since the first of the year. That's all I know. And I don't know, I can't pinpoint, I can't tell you whether it was end of December, I can't tell you if it was mid-January, I have no idea.
It's a ballpark.
It's a ballpark, somewhere in there, okay? So, we need some assistance.
Would it be something that could be a training issue or something too that, you know, the previous clerk or treasurer could come in and at least sit down for an hour or so and explain what options we currently have and how they've utilized it?
I don't know, but what I do know is that there have been emails back and forth with our current clerk and our previous clerk about
How to fix it.
how to fix it, which
And
have
it
resulted in
hasn't worked.
not working. And Shelley feels we've exhausted those. So, and I'm gonna go with what Shelley says. She feels we've exhausted it, she's exhausted it.
Yeah. But there's two different issues, aren't we? There's the Shelley issue and there's your issue, or
I think
Other people.
some of them are, some of that's the same. And I also think that it's also about, if we're going to upgrade to tablets or something else, all of this still needs to happen. We need to know what we have, we need to know, how are we using it, are we underutilizing, overutilizing? Do we have the security fixes in place? Do we have the security measures in place? Do we, I mean, I don't know if you guys, but I haven't gotten a thing to tell me to update on, in a while, on anything. So are we, that might be because mine's messed up, I don't know. But that usually fixes the bugs and security fixes. I have not gotten anything to update. Like those notices you get, you need to update, nothing's come through. So that's a concern to me. But I do think we need to get someone in here sooner than later to take a look.
So I know you said you're going to look at the county stuff. If this is a free estimate, does it make sense to do both? We do the free estimate with these guys and the county at the same time. To your point, save time before next meeting. We're pursuing both of them, so we have as much knowledge as we can for next meeting and decide from there where to go, where we actually have to spend.
I guess my thing is that I'm not, we don't know, we won't know an estimate till he gets in there.
Agreed, but is it a free, did you say it was a free for him to go in there?
Estimates on equipment, on all the
Oh.
equipment.
So it's gonna cost for him to go in
so
there?
that's
It's gonna-
$165 an hour.
162 or 165?
165.
65, yeah. So, yes. Have an IT guy go
Okay.
in and search our, and tell us,
Sure.
and then give us the estimates on what it's gonna be to bring us up to where we need to be.
Okay.
And that's why we don't want them in there until we have
Mhm.
some type
Until we
of
have an
contract or
NDA.
an NDA.
Yeah. So
Right,
while
so
we're
I
waiting for the
can't,
NDA, can we do the county stuff?
we can call and definitely for sure get a hold of Sherburne County IT and see what they offer and what their services are and what do they do.
Because I'm
to
sure
help
the
us.
NDA is gonna take at least a week. So if in
Shelley,
that
yeah,
time.
Shelley's working on it.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm hesitant to say, well, let's wait another month before we start digging into
Sure.
our stuff. That's where I'm hesitant to wait.
Mhm.
We got a directive from the constituents on the 11th to we had a budget to spend X amount of dollars on upgrading our technology.
You want to call a special meeting?
I don't know. I don't know at this point. I'm not sure. But I'm not sure that we need to.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna look at Sherburne County versus data success,
I
because you don't
think
even know if
that,
Sherburne County's available.
but if they are, if they're not, then we don't really have an option.
But if you want to take action tonight, you can't really take action if you don't know that.
Well, and that's my question. I'm not sure that there's any action to be taken or not. That's where I'm kind of bouncing back and forth. We had a motion made on March 11th, $10,000, look into the IT. That was voted on.
So when we're talking about the county stuff, are they even going to be able to do the full-on analysis?
That's
that we're
what we have to
talking?
call and ask them.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, it sounds to me like that's more, from what Brenda was saying, that's more for technical support, figure out why we have the two issues. That's not gonna help with expanding
Long-term
to-
expansions.
Yeah,
It might.
It might, you need
We
to
won't
call
know
it
till we
anyway,
call it.
investigate.
Right.
Who was
And
the,
this meeting was just on Friday, so this is all new. We had the meeting on Tuesday, we met on Friday, and we're here on Wednesday.
who set it all up that came to our homes and put it on our computer now? What was the name of that company?
Well, that never happened for me, so I don't know. No one ever came to my house.
Chris did mine. I brought my computer and she put it in.
I think I come right to into my house and set it all up.
So, that never happened for
Well, who
us.
was the firm? There was, I thought he lived on the lake.
No idea.
Did you get a bill? CTAS is a great resource.
No, this was through setting up the Office 365 government.
I don't think it's relevant, really, who did it
Well, except there's another
necessarily.
person here that, if they're in the area,
I think that,
I think I looked up in this, we entered this 4 years ago with 365. I don't remember the month or whatever, but I know it was in summer when he came to my home.
but for the price difference, does it matter? If we already have somebody that's willing to do it for us to buy it, and we have the other option of the county. And the other question, is the county going to be free?
we don't know, we have to call.
Okay.
Do we want to set up, instead of kicking this around tonight, set up a subcommittee to get a hold of Sherburne County, if we have to get back to this other party, come to some kind of a resolution or recommendation to the board or which way you want to go? I mean, we're kicking around tonight and we're just, we're not making any decisions, we're just going around in circles.
Well, I think the first decision we have to make is, we can probably put together more than, add one more person to Shelley and I working on this. But I'm not sure that, I think we need to make a decision that those people, whoever that may be, would be able to make a decision before our next meeting, to at least have someone start digging into our stuff so we even know what we need by our next meeting.
I thought we didn't have committees anymore. We had committees,
I didn't bring it up, Paul.
other members.
I'm just suggesting we develop a IT committee to investigate our options, come back with recommendations.
That's gonna kick us 3-4 months down the road.
Shouldn't, I mean, you're gonna talk to Sherburne County, you get up to speed in this other proposal.
I'm not
So
against
so
it.
everybody understands what the issues we're dealing with and we can move on. That's,
But in order to understand what the issues we're dealing with, we're gonna have to have one of these people under contract first, so that we know what the issues are.
But if you get an estimate from each of them,
But they can't give us an estimate till they get in our stuff.
they can give you.
they can give you a scope of work and a proposed estimate, yeah.
So you're,
I'm thinking we get an estimate from this company here and from, like a rough estimate from this and from the county. And then we come back to this next month. That's my thought.
okay,
And avoid any kind of special meetings. And I realize the constituents told us to do this, but I do feel like we are doing something here by getting a rough estimate and putting it on the April agenda. So we're showing progress.
okay. Let's say we make a call to Sherburne County IT and they say, no, we can't take you. Do we, at that point, we're now killing them?
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
you'd still
I mean,
have a couple option, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you want to see a
Now,
price
Shelley
range
did
or
be-
something like that from
She
a couple
has.
individuals?
She has reached out prior when we've had this discussion, I think January and February, is that right, Shelley? You reached out to different vendors, to different people who do computer work, one was not available.
Yeah, one wasn't available.
One wasn't available, Data Success was available. So she's reached out before. So this is not the first time we've reached out.
But we can call Sherburne County and see who else is out there also.
Because they may even have another option for a resource or something like that too, who they maybe use or would suggest somebody.
And that's part of what he also told us, that there are state vendors that he was gonna look into for us, as well as county vendors for us, to tell us which one was gonna be best. So that's also part of it.
Can motions be contingent on the answer of something? Because if Sherburne County doesn't do this, then I think we already know what we want to do. So can I make a motion that we reach out?
You can try to make any
Okay,
kind of
I'm
motion
gonna try
that
to
you
make a
want.
motion that we reach out to Sherburne County. If they say, yes, I can do this, then we get a rough bid from them and this other company and we bring this back in April. If they say we cannot do this, then we move forward with the other company and have a firm estimate in place by the April meeting.
In discussion.
You're at .com right now. The last 5-hour session I sat through on government IT security recommended you be on .gov at very minimum.
I said that last meeting, but.
On the .com, you guys are so open right now. The need to move to this is pretty quick. I'll shut up.
Those are my great concerns.
2 versions passed where you should be.
Yeah, those are, and that was his concern as well. So,
If the county can do this, is it free or do we have to pay them anyway?
we don't know any of those answers.
County's a contract.
It's gonna be a
So
contract.
it's gonna be a contract regardless.
Just a
What
matter
about
of-
just switching out the whole website and everything like that, so you are more on a .government kind of an org and stuff like that, like the cities use and
Well,
other
that was
things
brought
that
up at
way
the, that was brought up at the,
Also, and then
that
that might take, a good chunk of it altogether.
well, no, it won't. It'll take part of it. But that was brought up at the last SCAT meeting, that many cities and townships are gonna be, or have started to move to .gov already.
Instead of using your
.com.
GoDaddy website or
Correct.
anything like that, you would
We
have
told him
that
GoDaddy and he rolled his eyes at us. Let's put it that way. So, literally rolled his eyes at us. So we have a motion on the floor.
That's my motion, if it can be a motion.
Can we get a second?
Do we,
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Peter, discussion?
I mean, are we talking about a limit of how much?
I think the limit is 10 grand, isn't it?
No,
Or
that's,
ten's the
that was
line.
for iPads,
Yeah,
Yeah, that,
Laptops.
his includes that. That's step 3.
the purchase of them?
Yep.
Gary's got a question.
Madam Chair, I have asked the clerk to correct the annual meeting minutes because I was the one that made the motion. And well, Mr. Stoffer, I believe it was, suggested $10,000. When I made the motion, I specifically did not put a dollar amount in my motion. I left it in the discretion. So it's in your discretion. And that was just a recommendation anyway. It's always been in your discretion.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, continuing on with the March 11th ideas of the people. Supervisor compensation. Discussion about compensation. I'm not sure how, I think it was the people in the back that, somebody brought it up about how we pay bills or how we do whatever. This is the Attached here is the one that was given to me by Lucinda when I was at her last meeting. Clerk of Becker Township. Which is old because we have been at our rate different than what's on this list for over a year. But apparently this was the last one that was done, or the last one that she had anyway.
That's not true.
This is the one she told, this is what she
I
gave.
sent one in February to all the clerks, this February.
Okay. Like a month ago?
Yes.
Okay. I'm talking about when I got this in February, whenever I was at that meeting in Becker Township.
Shelley, you have Brenda's salary survey she did?
February 5th. And that,
But anyway, when I first brought this up, this was what we had, which was probably before that.
Well, if Brenda has a new one, why don't you, let's get a hold of that and we can talk about it with some knowledge, instead of kicking over the old survey.
And I have another concern. You made the motion last month to deal with this in April. I don't even know how it got on the agenda for today.
Because it was part of the, we're going over the annual, each one of the points that the constituents made at the annual meeting. So we typically just, the things that they suggest, we bring back to the next board meeting. So if you want to kick it till April, kick it. That's fine, but we usually go point by point over their suggestions, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I make a motion, we table it until we get the latest salary survey.
I'll second that.
Okay? Discussion?
That's fair.
All right, we will do that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Siren updates. So attached to the letter that I got from Bruce, it was addressed to me, came from Bruce Messholt regarding the sirens and the updates. I'm sure you all had a chance to read it. I have had an opportunity to discuss this with supervisors from other townships as well. It will be on the SCAT meeting agenda as well. But this was mostly, it doesn't really require us at this point to do anything. We're still, basically the letter says we're in a holding pattern for a little bit longer. But this explains it a little bit more from Bruce. Any questions about that letter?
My only concern is it lists 48 of them, which I understand, it lists the cities in that. And it does say we need to check how many we have in our locality, because they have us listed on one part of the document for 7, and in another spot for 8.
In another spot for 6. So I've seen
For 6.
multiple, and I don't know if they're adding them or subtracting them or what they're doing. Yes,
That's what
that's my
I'm saying.
concern as well, Paul. We're not sure. And also, if you look at the coverage map, there's a coverage map that is very beautifully colored here. You know, we might be over covered, you know what I mean? We might be having double coverage or multiple coverage. So those are all things we're gonna have to look into, and I think it's gonna be more than our township making a singular decision. We're gonna end up in a JPA of some sort.
And I'm totally in favor of that.
Okay. So I'm gonna bring this up at the SCAT meeting, but I just wanted you guys to all see the letter that I had received from Bruce and to see the maps. And so when we start to have those discussions, that we start to integrate this in our brains. And we'll discuss this at the SCAT meeting on April 16th.
My question is how does the maintenance handle? Because there are maintenance to these sirens.
There is, and
Is it something that the county coordinates when they back charge the townships? Or is
No.
the township required to do their own maintenance, or?
we will be required when we take them over. There are preventative maintenance service agreements that are currently in place for $60 a month per siren, and so we can, that's a possibility. We might be able to, again, I want to hear what other people have to say. I know that Boaz has done a little research for us and provided some numbers as well as to like the yearly cost and the, what if we have to replace one, and then what if we actually have to fix one?
I mean, these are expensive items.
Very expensive.
The key is to them, if you're not gonna maintain them, they don't do any good when you need them.
Correct.
So you're gonna have to
Absolutely.
pay a lot of attention to maintaining them, whatever contracts you need.
Absolutely,
It's-
and and that is part of why we added $15,000 to our budget, was to start padding for this, because we think it's gonna be expensive. And I think that we need to go in with the other townships
I agree with
to
To maintain
get a
it.
better deal, and I will need somebody from here to be our representative, preferably maybe not me, to be our representative on that JPA when we start doing the siren work. So, I'll probably attend the meetings, but I don't wanna be the person, so, I wanna put that out a little bit. So start thinking about it if you can work time and you'd be interested when we go into creating that JPA. Okay? But this is more informational, no action was needed. But I want to keep you guys informed about what I'm getting. Any further discussion? Okay. Moving on. Got 5 minutes, okay. Sherburne County accessory dwelling. This is no action required. They sent a draft ordinance on accessory dwelling units. I know Shelley sent out a thing asking us if we had input. This is an overview of the proposed ordinance in.
This is the results of the recently adopted comp plan.
Correct. AUDs or accessory dwelling units are high priority action plan, and I mean, this is just their pitch on accessory dwelling. If you, would anybody want to comment? And I think it's already passed, but this is going to be with the commissioners on April 15th.
It passed the planning commission with unanimous vote.
Okay. Okay. All right. Moving on. Recycle day update. Got anything?
The annual recycling day, May 17th, I have already ordered the postcards and, received some of the extra ones, came today. They look really nice. I still need one more volunteer for recycle day. Dalton's wife and I are going to be there, and then we need somebody else join us if anybody knows anybody.
Okay.
Let me know.
I told you, I'm out of town, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Otherwise, I would be there.
And that's, the ad is on the left and the postcard is on the right.
Nice work. Okay. We're not quite there yet. We added agenda item H.
Forgot about that.
This was, the clerk asked me to add this. So, Madam Clerk?
So Gary Goldsmith's consultant, contract expires on April 1st. We still could really use his help, and so we need to, ask the board's permission to, prolong it a little bit longer.
And could you share some more details as to the help that you're looking for?
Well, Gary has been very instrumental in helping Kelly to navigate CTAS and all the different paperwork and programs that she had to learn. He's been very helpful to me with going over things that I didn't understand. And in May, we still have the field audit, that work that we have to do, which neither Kelly or I have ever done. And so his help would be really instrumental.
And what kind of proposal are you looking for?
What do you think, Gary? A couple more months?
Well, Madam Chair and members, I'm sorry I didn't bring my totals, but February, as you know, was a big month because the treasurer wasn't able to do the treasurer's package. Plus, I did all of the budgeting packages and also the levy package, so that was a big month. This month has been much, much smaller. I'm not going to hit 25 hours this month. And next month will be even less because Kelly is getting better and better at what she's doing, and Shelley is learning more and more about her job. But we do have not only the field audit, but we also have a whole list of questions from the auditors that the treasurer and clerk or somebody helping them needs to respond to before the field audit. So I think probably I would agree with Shelley that it should be through the day of the field audit. What month was that, Shelley?
May 13th.
So April and May, but there won't be a lot of hours in providing treasurer and clerk support. There may be some hours in audit process. My main activity this month really was helping Kelly with cash control. It's always the hardest thing to get to balance, and it took us a while to do it. But we did.
Didn't we have a kind of agreement with the previous clerk and treasurer that they would assist with this audit? As I recall?
I don't think that was approved. I don't.
It was approved. Chris threw it out there and we approved it, but with no, we didn't approve any spending, we just approved that she would be available and she would be the one we go to. We would have to reapprove if there was a certain hours that we wanted her to come back for. But we did approve her services at least.
And if she's willing to do it, she's in a better position probably than I would be.
What was the total hours so far? I know you said you didn't bring it, but,
Oh, well, this month is like less than 25, but I think.
and it was like 26.
Last month was more like 40 or something like that. It was a lot because we had levy, budget, and all.
Well, we haven't seen that one.
And he was the
And the annual
treasurer.
meeting.
Right. Well, the treasurer was in
Here, but she
Yes,
wasn't able
yes,
to work.
you're correct. Yeah, I'm not questioning the quality. I just was curious to know how many total hours.
Yeah, sorry I didn't bring that.
Wasn't there some kind of cap, like 80 hours or something?
No, that was
We didn't need that once he became an independent
in the
contractor.
contract.
Because I don't have approval of extending it, but I think we probably should utilize the previous clerk and treasurer as much as we can, as much as they're made available. They have the history behind it.
And I guess I'm going to add that I think simply because they were here doing the work for the whole year, and if they're willing to come back and answer the questions and do that, nothing against you, Gary, but
Well, it makes sense.
I just think they're going to be able to get their hands on things quicker and be able to answer the questions. They actually handled the work.
Is that your recommendation, Gary, is they would handle it better?
Well, I still think that my contract should be extended for 2 months because Kelly's not ready to go 100% on her own yet. But yes, yes.
I'm really trying.
No, that's not the issue.
Previous clerk and previous treasurer are willing to go on some kind of contract to get through the audit. They're in a better position than I would be. I've gone through an audit before, but that's back when I was treasurer. That's a while ago.
Well, I definitely, if we're gonna go down that path, I would, they would have to be on site here working with Shelley. I mean, she needs to be in that learning process, in that learning curve. I'm not, so I'm not remote or anything like that.
We
I'm
got two issues then. We got one to extend Gary's contract if we do, and then other issue is get a hold of the previous clerk and treasurer and see if we can't finalize hours and costs.
And that would have
I'm
to
good-
be on the April one, on the April meeting.
I was going to say, I'm willing to make the motion that we extend Gary's contract through the month of April, then we can address it again at the end of April. And contact the previous clerk, Chris Weber, and the previous treasurer Jeanine Arnold, to see if they would be available to assist on the day of the audit and help prepare for the audit. That's my motion.
Is that all one motion, or is it, because there is two
There's
issues here.
2 issues here, so let's separate them out. Let's do just Gary first.
No, that's my motion, I'm sorry, I'm being, I think that,
I would like to comment. Madam Chair.
What, can we get, wait, I don't have a
Second.
second yet.
I'll second it so we get on the table.
Second discussion.
As I mentioned, we have a whole list of things from the auditors now that you will need to get the previous clerk and treasurer on board sooner than May 1st. In other words, sooner than the April meeting, if they are to get that stuff done in time for the field work. There's 2 components to the audit. A whole lot of stuff that we provide to them well in advance of the field work. And then the field work, which is really just one day, and it's basically pulling things like we did at the Board of Audit. The field work part is easier than the prep part. So I think if you're going to get them on board, you need to do it sooner than the April meeting.
Well, we don't even know whether they would. So,
We don't know that, and the other thing is now we're getting a lot of people brought in here rather than one point of contact.
yeah, and I'm not happy with too many hands in the pot. I know that when I asked Janine if she would be willing to help, at the December meeting, it was like, well, it's not necessary, no, basically is how I read it.
That's
Not,
how I've read it.
you read it the same way, Gary?
Yes.
Was a no. So I'm not sure re-asking the question's helpful.
and so if they aren't willing to help, Gary's still here already working,
Yeah.
what's the difference
So what's the difference?
in April?
Well, we'd have to get the contract signed. What he's saying is we would need contracts signed before our April meeting for them to,
We're gonna have to sign the contract now for April.
I think you can extend my contract by.
oh, his
We
is
can
something
set his
different.
now.
His we
Yeah.
can take care of, that's a done deal.
Yeah.
That's easy, we can do that. I'm talking about Janine and Chris. He's saying that we can't wait till April to bring them on.
I'm not saying that we wait till April. I'm saying is, the motion is to contract with Gary to continue the training and that and to help out in April. And then we'll review it, but to contact the clerk and the treasurer, the former clerk and treasurer, to see if they will assist in getting the audit materials prepared, whether it's in April, in May, I don't care. I think that that's more efficient for the people that actually did the work to do it.
No, I
than it
hear
would be
that.
from-
And Gary said, if we contact them, then we would have to be calling a special meeting to determine pay, hours, scope of work, all of that.
Well, if we've got a contract for Gary at that figure, then I just assume we should pay them the same. We do that now with our clerk and our treasurer.
You're gonna pay them Gary's rate, not the clerk rate?
It's like coming back as a
As a
consultant.
consultant.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go for that.
Well, we got a motion on the floor, let's deal with that, and then we got
Yep, so the motion on the floor, as he said it, was both issues together. We had a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. I think they need to be separate. I'll make a motion that we approve Gary's contract from now until the end of April. See how,
I
I
need to know
think
the
it should be in
scope.
May.
I need to know the scope, if it's support for the clerk and treasurer.
support for the current clerk and treasurer and help with audit.
That's the floor.
I think it should be in
The audit's May 13th until the completion of the field audit on May 13th.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Anybody want to take up the other motion? Anybody else?
Well, you're gonna contact, I think somebody should contact them and see if they're interested.
Okay.
Shelley, gonna do
Shelley,
that?
you'll
Yes.
contact them, see if they're interested? Okay. Moving on, abandoning unused roads. A, I think Dalton, you're
Yes,
up.
I will take this one. So Ross and Mary Reno did approach us during the annual meeting about an issue they're having. I did not think it was an appropriate time to bring this up, so I asked if they can come back here and put it on the agenda for today. So they did purchase a parcel of land across from their house on the northeast side of Eagle Lake. And when they went to go pull a building permit to build a pole barn or a garage, they found out that there are 2 roads abutting that are not used but are platted. I did walk by there a couple weekends ago. You would never know that there is a road there. There's trees that are about 50 years old. So they are asking what they can do in order for them to be able to build there. So whether that is a variance or that is us abandoning those roads. The problem becomes is obviously they need a 67 foot variance, or excuse me.
Where's their property now? There's a daycare down at the bottom of the hill that abuts that wetland. What land did they buy that, I'm confused on your map, but,
Here's the lake, here's the shore.
yeah?
Rossmere, I believe this
Yeah,
house
that's
right
our
here.
house.
This is a cul-de-sac right here, so there's one more house across this, so this comes down, goes over and out onto the county road. So they're buying the parcel across the street that then butts up to that wetland, which is right here.
Last fall, we did a study, because we have some drainage issues on 233rd, I think, which is on the south side of this area.
So you're saying the one that goes right here?
Yeah, and we're looking at using those right-of-ways to divert the drainage from going down 233rd to take it down to that wetland and back to the lake. So that's our current plan, so I'm hesitant to give up any easements back there until we really understand the scope of our drainage issue that we're dealing with.
In order for it to be drainage, does it have to be considered a road though? Because if we say that it's no longer a road, but we still own the land, does that get?
Drainage is part of the road, so we can use it for a drainage ditch or drainage culvert or wherever you want to look at it.
Sure, but if we don't classify it as a road, that removes the need for the 67 foot away from there.
You can't abandon a road. It has to be petitioned.
Yeah,
You can, I
You
just got,
cannot abandon
Yeah.
a road as a board.
we just learned that from Matt that you can do that.
Not, you are not exercising urban
Excuse me,
power.
excuse me.
yeah, you have to go through public hearing and all that. It's a
I
pretty
realize
lengthy
it's a process,
process.
but
It
it
isn't
can
just
be
an
done.
idea that we can do it.
I agree, and I'm not opposing that we have to abandon the road either. What I'm asking the board to consider, what is the best way to get these folks able to use that land that they purchased? Whether that is no longer classifying as a road, whether that is them going to the county and asking for some kind of variance so it doesn't have to be 67 foot away. Because if we're never gonna use it as a road, if it's only for drainage, there's no reason why they have to be 67 feet away from it.
Can I show you something?
And you are,
Yeah.
he's on the agenda.
We are, we purchased this, and since this is a road here, and this is a road here, we can't build 67 feet this way, or 67 feet this way, or with our road here, we can't build 67 feet that way. So it's pretty much just a waste of land there, we can't build.
And where's
Where's 233rd?
where are the,
Your 233rd is,
it's on the bottom,
It's
it's on the
basically
bottom.
where the footer is
where
basically.
the footer is.
Yeah. And I mean, we've been there 30 years and the roads were never there.
So where,
Almost
show me
35.
the point where the abandoned roads, where the
This
roads
is
are.
a abandoned road here,
And
This is the other abandoned road, and then this is supposed to be a park, but it's basically swamp.
And then there's a road cross right
Well, and then,
forward.
and this used to be a road right here.
Where's the boat launch for that area?
Across the way.
Up there.
You're talking that shared one that like 7.
So this is way south of the boat launch, okay?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Well, you're right, I mean, the other way is to give an, variance.
And if,
And
you know,
build
Sherburne
closer.
County, if we could get some help from Sherburne County, you know, just,
Right here is also a road that was never built. And if you look at it, there's septic and, you know, huge trees in it. So that whole map is kind of,
it's really a bad map over there.
Yeah.
We gotta go back to your beacon and clean this thing up so we see what we're dealing with, so we can really see where the lots are.
Could I have the address?
Yes, 23314,
23314.
183rd Street,
Okay.
Northwest.
I was all over it today trying to find it.
280 what?
283rd.
And besides talking with Dalton, what other steps have you taken so far? Or is this the first step?
This is basically the first step,
Okay.
because, I mean, we bought the land and we were all excited, we were gonna go to Sherburne County, and they're just like, no, we can't give you a building permit because of the 67 feet, but the funny thing is there's 3 garages on this area, right here.
Can we go to the next
We're-
slide, Shelley?
Right here, there's 3, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Garages, and they said that we couldn't build that.
oh, show them where it is on that, so.
Oh, I can't.
So I see the garages that are,
Here's 233rd is an actual road, 183rd is an actual road.
Yeah.
The 2 that they're talking about is here, coming down here. These garages all here are the ones.
See, we're gonna use part of that as our drainage ditch for the, so,
Okay, so then do we get compensated for this? Because there's already a lot of land that somebody put tar on, put a circle around, and there's runoff that we have to fix.
well, right now, it's going down to that wetland. Again, I'm having trouble with this map visualizing where
That's
you are as
fine.
compared to the roads, compared to the daycare, and,
Oh, the daycare is at the other side of the swamp. I
Well-
can hear them playing, I can see them once in a while.
and the response from Sherburne County was just no.
Yes.
Yeah, there was
Because of
something
the-
about 67 feet,
67
and we'd
feet.
have to talk to you guys about vacating some roads.
That's what Sherburne County told you?
Yeah,
Okay.
and like they said, they were never, the roads were never there in the 30-some years we've lived there.
well, I think for me, I gotta get a better map so I'm seeing what I'm dealing with, but I think, you know, you go back to get variances on those, on that setback, and that might be an easier solution. Might be cheaper, because once you go through the legal hassle of notifying the papers, having a public hearing, to vacate those roads, that's all on your nickel. That isn't cheap.
Well, you know, getting a survey done wasn't cheap either.
I didn't thought you.
And that's why I wanted it on the agenda, Brian, is it, with your knowledge, that's why I'm kind of asking, is what is the best next step for these
I
guys?
think maybe Dalton, you and I can get together, whatever, let's get a better map, so I know where they're proposing to put your garage, I'm assuming, in relationship to the platted roads that are down there.
Kevin?
Right.
Wouldn't you be able to allow them to have a variance from the platted right of way? I mean, the road wouldn't make sense to me to have that setback, but within the right of way, you would be able to limit those down to what a standard lot limit would be, so, you know, your 10-foot setbacks.
10-foot setback?
From the right of way on the
On
side
the-
that don't have actually roads.
There's ways around it.
Yeah, and I think variance.
Variance is probably the cheaper way to go.
Yeah, and that's what I'm asking is,
You're probably
what is the
looking-
cheapest and easiest?
Yeah, you're looking at, I mean, $5,000 to $20,000 to go through the vacation process, and if one resident in that area says no, that puts you in a tough spot too.
Yeah.
So Kevin's our township engineer.
Okay.
So he's saying variance is probably the best way to go,
It'll be
But-
much easier.
much easier, and that because these are basically not used roads,
Mhm.
that we would be able to modify to the 10-foot
The 10
setback.
foot. And then to Brian's point, we can still use them for drainage at that
Right,
point.
right,
I'm not trying to get rid of that, we still need them at some point.
right, but that doesn't change where they
Exactly,
build a building.
exactly.
Build a building. Okay, so it's not gonna happen today, but it sounds like you've got some people willing to work on it between Brian and Dalton, get a good map, get some better eyes on it, talking with Kevin and trying to get the right wording and the right words to use to Sherburne County to
I
get them
appreciate that
to do
very
that. So it's on its way to being worked on, but we can't fix it tonight. But you took a good first step by reaching out to Dalton, so
Yeah.
thank you.
We thank you
No, thank
all
you very
very
much.
much for
Thank you.
your assistance and your
Well, good, and thank you, Brian, for working with Dalton on this to get something figured out, to let them get a day in shed on their property, so. All right, any further discussion on that? Brian, you and Dalton will connect? Perfect, thank you. Spring Road Tour. Gotta set a date. Time. Paul, you gonna drive?
I can try.
What are you guys thinking?
Are we thinking weekend?
I think a weekend would be beneficial just because of the other people that might have concerns versus going during the week when nobody's around. If that's possible.
What, Mr. Hilder? You trying to kick me under the table from over there? Got some dates, anything available?
Well, I'm waiting here. I've got my calendar up, so.
They're proposing a weekend.
A Saturday or something of some
Are we,
kind.
are we talking April or May? Let's start with April or May.
Well, I got April 5th, I have, April 12th,
Do I
I
have to be
have
there?
No.
April 26th, those three Saturdays I am available.
Next. Fifth, so far we have 5th, 12th, or 26th proposed.
I think we should not do it on the 12th.
Not on the 12th, okay.
Okay.
And I have a commitment on the 26th
So we're down to April 5th if we want Paul to drive.
or the 19th.
I think that's,
I'm out the 19th.
it's Easter weekend, I think.
It is.
Yeah, you're correct, I didn't look at that.
I'm free the 5th as well.
5th is open for you. 5th is open for you. Paul, what about you, Brian?
I don't think my leg is gonna handle sitting in a car for 4 hours, so.
Oh, probably not.
Probably not.
We could take breaks and get out and walk around.
First the one's getting in and out of the
You
car.
want us to do like half of it and come pick you up?
Is that too early?
Yeah, I think it is.
Spring
That's
Road
what I'm
Tour,
thinking.
also known as
Too early,
Torture
then we can go
With the
into
frost and
May, May 3rd I'm free.
Take a pickup and put the recliner in the back.
Do it on-
May
Take a pickup, put the
May
recliner
3rd?
in the back.
I can,
Okay, how about the 24th of May?
Still drive very fast.
I could probably even squeeze the 10th maybe too.
I'll be out the 10th.
Huh?
I'll be out the 10th.
You'll be out the 10th, okay.
May 3rd or May 24th?
May 3rd I can't,
Okay.
so someone else can drive it.
Well, do we all need to be on the road tour?
Well, we need at least somebody who has done it before, which I've only ever done one. So one of you two needs to be available, and these two need to go. So, so basically is when, Paul, when are you available?
If you're asking me, you're relying on me to get around and do everything. You may never see us again.
not saying I'm not gonna go, I'm just saying that.
No, I'm not,
just saying
I'm
me
just,
alone
no,
is
I'm
not
just saying
helpful.
is, once again,
Kevin,
some
when
of
are
these
you
roads,
available?
some of these roads I go down,
Well, Brian, he
you
can't,
don't
he
think you'll be
can't
okay.
sit in the car for very long.
Well, I can go in first week of May, I don't, or last week of April, but the first week of.
Okay,
only-
so let's
we're only
look
2
at-
weeks
Okay,
away
I
from-
mean, he has a sense of where we're at.
Yeah.
He loves taking me down dirt roads that I've never been.
Yeah, so
Dragging you on.
I would agree, Brian is the best on a road tour. He sees things that we don't see,
So
for sure.
the 10th,
Of what?
May.
I'm out.
Well, you're out. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I'm out the 17th.
What's the third?
May 3rd is open.
I'm out.
So you're out, Brian's open, you're open,
Yep.
you're
I'm
open,
open.
I'm open.
Do it then.
May 3rd.
On the 3rd.
Meet here at what time, Brian?
Remember me, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock?
9 o'clock.
Okay.
All right, that'll be
Um,
posted. That needs to be posted.
Can you meet somewhere other than here? Because that's why I'm out. We have something going on here.
What time?
8:30 in the morning.
I mean, we're just meeting in the parking lot.
I know, but we're gonna be having, I hope, the parking lot full.
Paul's having a rager.
No, this is the Lake Association annual meeting. Can you just, I don't care if you're parked down there, I'm just saying, I'm serious. There's, most of the time, there's 100 people.
Okay.
Well, it's about 4 or 5 hours, time to get through all 40 roads.
I'm more concerned about the cars being here at 8:30 and then when the membership shows up to use the hall, there's not enough parking spots.
Oh, there'll be enough.
Well, your
Oh,
meeting's
that's
at-
your annual meeting?
Yes.
Oh.
Your meeting's at 8:30, this one's not till 9, so the parking would be our problem.
No, we're coming, some of us are coming in to set up
At 8:30.
meetings later.
Yeah, we can meet at.
I'm just saying, can't you just meet in a different location to go and it doesn't?
Well, where can we all go
You
that
can
we?
meet at my house if you want, it's down the road.
Okay, we'll meet at Brian's house.
Thank you. I just don't
You
need
owe
to
me.
hear that. I just don't need to hear that headache.
Okay,
It's gonna be bad enough.
moving on. West Eagle Lake discussion, I don't have a paper about that, but that's you.
That is, so, just wanna bring it up with the board, one of the items that we've kind of discussed a little bit, but, this area especially, there's a lot of landscaping, retaining walls, potential for irrigation systems, all sorts of fun landscaping nightmares for road contractors. So what I was looking at doing is setting up a meeting for the road committee to basically go out there, we'll walk a little ways of it, try to gauge at what we kind of, how we want to approach some of those items, and then bring a recommendation back to the board, on what we might want to look at actually doing in all those situations. Some townships like to try to pay for all that and put it back to exactly the way it was. Some folks like to do more of the, you're in our right of way, move your stuff, get it out of the way, we're coming through. So just kind of going through that, and there's a lot of unique items out there that should be looked at a little bit closer than what we normally would on a road project.
I think it'd be a fantastic idea for you to get the road committee together to do that. Take a lot of pictures for those of us not on the road committee to let us know what you're talking about and bring recommendations back to us. When would you like to get that back to us?
I figured we'd bring it back at the end of or at that April meeting. And then we can kind of discuss those items, kind of start to get a good idea on what we want to do on those. And then look at scheduling, trying to get a schedule for a neighborhood meeting as well.
Okay.
Your surveying and all that stuff done?
Yep. Yeah, so we'd be looking at getting some level of a neighborhood meeting in May or June, depending on what we kind of want to.
Okay.
We'll see it when all the snowbirds are coming back and kind of gauge it off that too.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure everyone was back in time for it.
I don't think we need a motion of any sort for you to connect with our road committee to do
Yeah, I'll
that.
just-
So are you just-
Then we just need to post it then, right?
You'll need to post it if you're gonna have more than 3
two.
of us. More than 2, a third, yes.
Well, last year we had to post,
We had to post all the.
you had to post the road committee.
Because there was
Is that
3, I
right?
just never showed up.
No,
No.
just because of it's a committee.
Oh, yeah.
It was a committee
Yeah, 'cause
meeting, you
I
had.
thought we switched that last year, where all
But you
committee
can,
meetings are open, correct?
But you're gonna be out on site, right? So you're going out on site. So we'll have to, if you're gonna post, you'll have to pick a point address
Yep,
to
yeah, I'll
post.
Pick an intersection of.
Pick an intersection to post at that intersection, yes.
Personally, I'm not sure it's wise to have your road committee have to post that meeting just because a lot of things come up where you gotta get together and talk.
It's interesting because I was at Becker Township again, following up on an issue over there, doesn't matter. Every road project, they have a public meeting at the intersection of where it's gonna happen. Every single road project. They were posted, I don't know how, 3 or 4 of them, all in the next month. A public meeting here, a public meeting, I was like, what the heck? It's a lot of public meetings, and the whole board goes and stands there and has a discussion, and then citizens come and talk to them, and then they bring it back to the meeting here to make any votes. So it's not uncommon, and I think in this situation with such a high-profile project, that is the only way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in these past, there's been a mob of 50 to 60 folks that have been walking around with us on these neighborhood.
Look at this, look at this, look at
Yeah,
this, look at
exactly.
this.
And it's, you can see exactly when you're getting close to someone's house, because then they cycle towards the front and
And on a project
drift
like,
away.
and on a project like this one, where we're going to have issues.
A lot of them.
A lot of issues, we need to be as open, as transparent, and as visible as possible. To not say you did this behind our backs, you didn't talk to us, or anything else.
There might be a lot of individuals.
I'm not suggesting that shouldn't be an open meeting, but I think when the road committee gets together and talks about
Right.
this, that, or the other
The
thing, I'm not sure.
preliminary items.
I'm not sure those kinds of things need to be posted.
On a project like this, I think they do. On this high-profile project.
I'm fine either way.
But
If there's anyone else that wants to attend, I figured I'd open it up to.
open it up to everybody.
If other folks had ideas or wanted to be part of it, this is really the first time we've done this level of a project.
Sure.
I mean, really since 2030, we've done, overlays on everything.
Well, if you
So-
can get with the primary road committee, pick the dates that work best
Yep.
for you, have Shelley post, pick an
Yeah, and then
address, pick an
whoever else can
intersection,
attend, can attend.
pick an intersection.
And I agree, because I would be very interested simply because I live on that road.
Right,
But I prefer to let the engineers and the road committee talk about it and come up with proposals and then make it public and then hear more comments from the public. I really think it needs to stay to 2 supervisors, not,
Well, that's not on our agenda
Well-
discussion right now, so we really,
yeah, it is.
changing the committee membership is not on our agenda. Allowing him to have a West Eagle Lake discussion with
That's
the
what we're
road
talking
committee.
about,
With the
whether it
road,
needs to be posted.
well, we've already agreed this one's going to be posted. He said that's the best way to handle
well,
these.
I mean, I believe last year you guys set in your
In your-
committees that all committee meetings were posted.
Correct.
That was,
So,
All right.
That was-
Shelley will,
that was changed, if you remember correctly, before. It was committee work and people, there was requesting to be able to attend the meetings, and so we identified who was on the committee, and other people would attend, but did not have a vote or anything like that on what the committee's recommendation would be.
but they were still posted.
right, but then we had to post them.
They were posted.
Prior to that, it was not. What I'm saying,
Yeah.
no, it's not okay.
Well, it's not on the agenda, Paul.
Well,
What's
neither
on
was
the-
the meeting that you had with Shelley and didn't let anybody else know about it.
Excuse me?
With the data success group. I would have loved to have been there. I want to learn more about this.
So you're saying, so then you want us to tell everybody everything about every request for proposals or trying to find out information about what services they offer?
When you turn around and ask for an action at that next meeting, yes.
Well, we had an action. We took it from the 11th. But
What works for sometimes isn't always the same for other times.
they're two different things. As a chair, I
You're
was
right about
invited,
that.
as a chair, I was invited to a meeting, and I know there were lots of meetings that Brian went to as the chair at HOAs, at other things that the rest of us didn't know about until he brought back information from them.
Since we enacted to be about the meeting.
So going to a request by a clerk for the chair to show up at a meeting is very different. And that happened with Brian as chair as well. So meetings with the clerk happened all the time. So, moving on. Have your meeting, get it posted, Shelley, get it posted,
Yeah, I'll
and then
shoot you guys a message on
once Shelley,
in the next couple of weeks.
once Shelley knows what it is, share that with the rest of the board so that if they want to attend, they can. Board business and updates. Adams.
Nothing, in the sacred time.
Caroling.
Went to the MAT training yesterday. One thing that we learned for Shelley's benefit is we can get a free Amazon Prime business account because we're townships, for Minnesota townships. So that's something you might want to look into, Shelley, for ordering.
I think that Chris already had one.
I already had it set up. Sounds good. I'm good.
All right. Felber, just a reminder, SCAT meeting April 16th, 6 o'clock. Dinner, 7 o'clock is the meeting. I would tell you the Sand Dunes State Forest meeting, I did go to it. The Sand Dunes will be opening for the campgrounds on May 9th. So just keep aware that that's the date that people will start. The gates will be open, the campgrounds will be open. So that would be that. And other than that, just did a couple community events, Big Lake Fair, and was in DC for 5 days. Owen.
I did too attend the MAT training, very interesting training. Got a lot of cool gifts too.
Did you get your yellow vest?
I got my high visibility
High
vest,
visible
which
vest?
I'm gonna have to utilize a lot.
On the road tour? There
That's
you go.
right.
I got an extra one if you need it.
I fielded a couple of phone calls about vacating another road, but
Okay.
we directed them, Shelley, to put that on the agenda for next month.
Okay.
And I met with Kevin out on 243rd today and checked out that situation. I've informed and let him know what I've been hearing from the citizens on that road, what we should do. And he was going to talk with the Becker Township. He was supposed to be there too, but he never showed up, so their engineer to discuss this, but just waiting to hear back on that situation.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm good.
Okay. Ellinger.
I signed up already for the legal seminar. I encourage everyone to sign up
I did too.
if you haven't, because it does fill up very quickly. I guess the other item is that all the supervisors received a letter from the former treasurer. And I was surprised that that has not been discussed at this meeting yet, and so I'm bringing it up. I spent some time looking at the video. I spent some time going back and looking at other information, mainly the bank accounts. There was no such thing as overdrafts at all last year. The overdrafts occurred and appeared in the February meeting twice, or fees, excuse me, not necessarily overdrafts, but fees. So the $60 was not upon Janine Andrews, the former treasurer's watch when that occurred. It was occurred, as we know, just with all the new changes that are happening at. And so it's my recommendation that we do direct the chair to write a letter of apology to Janine on behalf of the board. And it also requests that the Patriot News include something in the article at this time to state that it was not a fault of the previous treasurer. I make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right, treasurer's business.
So. Okay, so bear with me, since this is my first meeting kind of thing to actually present, so I apologize. But as you'll find on the cash summary that shows for February what our balances are and stuff too. So for both the Sherburne State Bank, the checking, the debit card, the money market, the CD, and the 4M fund. So it does give our balances, and that is per the bank accounts and for CTAS. So it's balancing across that. We did have a little bit of, little hard time for myself to truly make sure it all balanced and worked out, but in the long run, with Gary's help, we did get that all taken care of, and so I apologize for those late reports. But other than that, it shows you the, with the interest rates and stuff there and what was paid and we had earned on those accounts for this month too, for February. Does anybody have any questions on that? For the cash control? And then with the,
Need approval on that?
yes.
I move approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then with the treasurer's report, that one there, just is showing the CTAS of the statements of the receipts, disbursements, and balances. And so, there you will see with each one of the funds and the totals and stuff right there.
Do we need a motion? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Brian, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Peter, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then the pledge package, the validation, those are also balanced across from the bank accounts and with the pledge report. Those are on there also. And you've seen those, I believe, in the past for each month. So, any questions on that? Approval?
It doesn't need a, I don't think that needs a motion, that's just a review.
And the para, there was an error with reporting into para, so we have been working with them to get that corrected. So that is one of those things that with payments, there was an error that we will be adjusting and have a credit and stuff going through with para.
I think
we need
we'll
to-
bring that to the board at the next meeting.
Okay,
There were.
okay.
there were-
I think being really vague is gonna cause some problems, so I'm aware of this, but
I'll just.
share what you can, Gary, because we're
Yeah.
treading lightly.
Yes, a few months ago, we the former clerk recognized that there was a switch between two employees where, when entered into para, the numbers for one employee got entered for Chris, and her numbers got entered for a different employee. And that's been resolved by para during the switch internally. And then during Kelly and my watch, we realized that in January, when we paid the para account, we were actually running from the December statement, so we paid an incorrect amount. They've corrected it, we have a credit. But we plan to write this all up in a memo to you to present at the next meeting so that you understand what was done and you can ratify.
So there are two things that are kind of related, but there's two separate issues.
Yeah, they're only related because they're both para.
Or both para.
Transactions, yes.
But one of them is an error that's been rectified that was a few months back.
Both of them have been rectified.
Okay, everything's been rectified.
Yes, and we want to write it up so that you can see it in writing and just ratify what the treasurer did to correct it.
Okay,
The reason it requires board approval is that, as I mentioned, in January, we paid para based on the December statement, not the January statement. So we overpaid para. From a technical standpoint, that means that we, because I was involved with the treasurer, we paid out more than the board had authorized in the claims package. And now that's been corrected and credited, so we have a credit with para. But we will want you to ratify the fact that we paid too much and subsequently got a credit.
but that payment has nothing to do with the clerical or the errors that occurred
A few months ago.
prior to January
They're unrelated.
with payments being made to para in the wrong accounts.
Correct.
Got it. Two separate issues, both just paras. Got it, okay. And everybody's got the money they need now. Perfect. So we don't need, that'll come in April. Perfect. All right, announcements, April board meeting will be April 23rd at 7 o'clock. Local Board of Appeal and Equalization, see everybody here on April 9th. Even if you don't have your certification to do that, please come and watch the process and get that training done so you can step in and do that.
I will do the training, but I will be in Ohio.
Okay.
This weekend.
We could potentially remote in.
Okay.
Talk to Shelley. SCAT meeting, I already mentioned that. Recycle day, we've already done. Township seminar, Paul already hit it. City Fest, flyer here in Duluth, pre-registration required. Looking for a call for an adjournment.
I'm so moved.
Peter is the first. Do I have a second?
Second, support.
Second by Brian. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Peace out. I was too. Life sucks. I'm blaming that guy right there.
I was short.